Now, you already referenced this, but human beings clicking on things that they shouldn't in their emails still is our biggest vulnerability. What have you and your colleagues in security maybe done in the past 2 years to reduce that vulnerability? Some of it's training, but hopefully there's other things because human beings not so trainable.
Yes, so unfortunately, human beings are not so trainable, I agree. And when you take the impact of ChatGPT, the training we've given them, it throws that in the bin because typically, as we know, a lot of the attackers, English is not their native language. So one of the things you train people to do is spot grammatical errors. If you ask a chatbot to write you an email for phishing or just an email requesting payment from a supplier because it's got good conscience or morals programmed into it, and when it sees the word phishing, it wouldn't give you an answer. However, if you say, right, I need to request £1,000 from company X for a service due, it will give you a proper email in English. Maybe it might be American English, so you need to regionalize it to British. However, that's just increased the volume of attackers that can attack because English doesn't need to be your language. You just tell someone, well, you tell a program what to write. So to answer your question, what are we doing? We're doing several things. So firstly, tone from the top is very important. With anyone I work with, I always explain that it needs to be championed from the top. Most CEOs now are starting to raise that in their weekly podcast about phishing. I was impersonated, X, Y, and Z. Also leaders, people like myself, we have to show vulnerability. I mean, I have once or twice almost myself been caught out by phishing, be that a genuine attack or my team testing me. In fact, I have been caught out by phishing as well, not to a detriment. And it's also working more with the users because we realize not everyone can be educated to report things quicker because it only takes one person to click. However, if 100 people get an email and only one person tells me about that email in the first 10 minutes, I can remove it from 100 people's mailboxes and they wouldn't even know it was there. So it's about reacting quicker, obviously enabling the people to report it, encouraging that culture of reporting and creating a culture where not reporting it is bad, because it is as basic as that. And then trusting that, the word you use, zero trust, we minimize the access our internet-based staff can do. And in certain countries, you've got regulation coming in to take care of that. So if you look at somewhere like in the United Kingdom, we've got the Telecom Security Act, which is the first in the world of where a government has mandated how security should be run using language such as must and shall rather than woulds or coulds, and giving you risk, they're taking the risk out. So again, designing systems to be resilient and putting in a scenario that it will be compromised by a human also helps. Because look, if someone in finance gets an email to say change supplier details and pay an invoice, they most likely will pay it. Where we now need to look at what mechanisms do our bank have for recalling that payment. What do we have dual factor processes that it takes two people to change and verify? So literally it's going back to the basics and realizing that, to your point, we can 100% train the humans and we need to be prepared to react and take corrective action very quickly on the foundation that we've gone secure by design, which if you look at tech, the biggest challenge we had in telco everywhere in the world is legacy tech, but the pace of innovation is vastly outgrowing the pace of legacy tech. So where you have people moving from on-premises to cloud software as a service solution, they're then getting that whole volume and scale.